This is they know what they're doing. I mean, that's why they rested all these regulars to get ready for the playoffs. So, a long a long run here. The more I think about this too, and I know Jalen Hurts.
Please say Bob Grotz is laughing as he said, "Long playoff run."
Yeah.
You got the Mac and Mac guys here on Birds 365 as we build up to a showdown between the Buccaneers and the Eagles in the playoffs. That's right, the Eagles are in the playoffs. Bob Grotz joined us from the Delco Times, who, when he said earlier this year, thought the Eagles could be 1-7 to start the year. I'm guessing he was doubting the Eagles would go into the playoffs. Bob Grotz, you got to give the Eagles props for what they've already accomplished this year. Do you not?
They've done a great job managing the COVID situation. That's all I can say.
And I call shenanigans on the COVID situation.
And not only that, if you look at the quarterbacks that they beat, I mean, half those guys shouldn't be in the league. It's unbelievable. Oh, and by the way, before we go, I gotta give John McMullen credit for acting like he was the agent of Jonathan Gannon and getting him to deal with the Denver Broncos. Yeah,
told you it was coming, Bob. I told you. I told you. Nobody believed me.
You're a pal, man. I want a reference from you if I could. Yeah, for my next gig.
And you know where John's going to score extra bonus points? With Eagle fans that he's always wondering that they hate him. Yeah. The Eagle fans want to see Gannon out of town. He doesn't
you want to get him out of here. You should be thrilled.
They offered to drive him to the airport. How about that?
Yeah. Well, Bob, now, all right, we'll go down the JG route. And by the way, I said, JG, you got to be where your feet are. That's what he always says. So what's he doing? But I will say, people said the same thing about Nick Sirianni last year and Brandon Staley with the Chargers. They weren't on people's radars, and all of a sudden they get an interview, and Nick Sirianni wows Jeffrey Lurie, and he's the head coach of the Eagles. Now he's in the playoffs, even though people like Bob Grotz said they were going to have a 1-7 start, but we'll talk about that. Who's to say he can't win over somebody, Jonathan Gannon? And Eagles fans might be thrilled by that, depending on what happens in Tampa on Sunday.
I don't know. You mentioned Brandon Stokely. I mean,
Staley.
Staley. I'm sorry. God, why do I get him mixed up? Brandon Staley.
Stokely used to be a damn good wide receiver.
Good slot receiver.
Yeah.
But I mean, with all the talent that the Chargers had, and they didn't make the playoffs.
Look at that quarterback.
I mean, what kind of a hire was that? I'm ready to start questioning that hire, because there's no way. I mean, when they introduced the starting lineups of the Chargers and the other teams, you look at the players, you say, "Damn, look at that lineup." Offense or defense, and then they get eliminated by an interim head coach and
Rich Bisaccia, Yonkers boy. Don't be getting on his case.
I'm not saying he's bad, but
that's my stomping grounds.
Well,
let's hear it for the Yonkers boy.
Hey, I'll give him credit. I'll give him credit, Jody, because I thought they would play for the tie in overtime, and I thought that would be the safe thing to do. But he went for the win, and that was a very confusing situation. But I don't know why in the heck Staley would call that timeout. I mean, that was just so bizarre. But anyway. My whole point is, with that kind of talent, that would make me question, like hiring, a boy genius there. But I'll give Nick Sirianni his props. He beat the teams that he could beat. Have they beaten a good team? You gotta.
What is their best win? I was trying to come up with one. Yeah. I said Denver, and Denver, it was Teddy Bridgewater, who is okay as a quarterback.
Yeah, is that the best quarterback they've beaten?
Yeah.
I was after Matt Ryan. I mean, who's the best quarterback they beat? I think it's Goff. I mean, some of the other guys, but this is they know what they're doing. I mean, that's why they rested all these regulars to get ready for the playoffs. So, a long run here. The more I think about this too, and I know Jalen Hurts.
Please say Bob Grotz is laughing as he said, long playoff run
Yeah.
for the Eagles.
They're
That will
resting
be
guys.
saved and re-aired again. I can guarantee you, Mr. Grotz.
They're resting guys. Yeah, like I mean, you guys, I
Gotta
hope you
get
don't
ready
mind.
for the long playoff run.
I hope you guys don't mind. I did a little bit of extra research for this show.
Please.
Yeah,
Sure.
and I crunched all the analytics that I could come up with, and I factored in the Bucs and the Eagles' strengths and weaknesses. Even threw in that game earlier in the season, and I came up with the Eagles. That the percentage, the odds that they can win. What the percentage was, and I think you guys are going to be surprised when I show you this.
What you got? You got the
10%. Did I have it upside down?
You crossed out the
You got it
zero.
right.
I thought you
Didn't
said
know
one.
the zero
I thought
with
you were
the
going
line through it.
1%. Yeah.
What do they call that when you do that? The zero with the line through it? There's a specific name for that. I should know what it is, and I don't. I'm asking you guys, but apparently you don't know either.
That's a Silicon Valley thing that I picked up. Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
It's a Silicon Valley thing.
When were you in the Silicon Valley?
On the way out to visit my brother. He lives outside LA. So
you've been here in Philadelphia for decades. You got Silicon Valley ways of.
But I blend in really good, Jody. I blend in really good. Yeah, I mean, I travel well, like that run game. That run game that travels well. Here's partly why I think they rested a bunch of those starters, especially the offensive line. They think that they can go out there and run the ball and create problems for the Bucs. And, they might be able to do that. But, sooner or later, and what's the temperature going to be down there this weekend? 80?
Not that bad. It's going to be 70-ish. I think 60s, high 60s.
High 60s?
It's going to be a nice day. Wow. Yeah.
It was 80 this past week.
Yeah.
But,
it was.
I don't know how.
It's going to be better than here.
That'll give them some problems. But once you get to the playoffs, I heard Nick talking about how, you stick to the things that you did every day. Well, this stuff doesn't work against, regular starting quarterbacks and stuff. So you better come up with something, you better have a bunch of wrinkles for this team to keep you in this game. So
now we're down to 64 and raining.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both Johnny and I were typing in Sunday Tampa weather at the same time. Yeah. Potential rain. Bring your slicker, Grotz, if you're going down to Tampa.
All right, here's the revised chance.
Raise it up. Raise it up. 5%.
Oh, shoot, he's going the other way.
No,
maybe you're going up to 15.
No, you go to 15%. Yeah, right. That's an extra 5%. Yeah.
The running game, the strength of these two teams, Bob, offensive, defensive line. So is that where it's won?
Yeah, you had, and they have proven that they can wear teams down. But the difference being Todd Bowles, he's going to take away something that Jalen Hurts is comfortable doing in the pass game, whether it's scrambling, he's going to take that away. And then we'll see, then we'll be able to better evaluate, what his viability, Jalen Hurts' viability as the long-term answer.
But this is a done deal, right?
Excuse me.
Jalen Hurts is coming back as their starting quarterback next year. Yeah. John's line about FU players. And if by some miracle Deshaun Watson gets all of his illegal issues ironed out and he's good to go to start next season, I think the Eagles will absolutely make a play for him. I don't see Russell Wilson. I don't see Aaron Rodgers coming here. It's basically Deshaun Watson or Jalen Hurts for the Eagles next year, isn't it, Bob?
Yeah, well, I think Watson. I think the firing of Brian Flores by the Dolphins, I think that means that they're going to make a huge push for him. The new guy, whoever it is going to have to be on board with that. So I think that's where I almost think that's all but done. That's all but signed, sealed, and delivered. So he's back next year. There's nobody in the draft. I'm looking around at the veterans. I mean, what's Miami going to do? That probably Tua is going to be in the deal. So would you want him to come in? You want him instead of Jalen Hurts? You couldn't do that. You could not do that,
No, that would nor do I think the Eagles want to do that. It's interesting from Houston's perspective, though, because all of a sudden Davis Mills looks like he could be okay. as a quarterback, so that they want a quarterback coming back. But you're right, Bob. I mean, Deshaun Watson wants to play in Miami. The owner there wants Deshaun Watson. That's the way it's got to end up. I don't think it's going to be any chance for the Eagles to open that door again. So Jalen Hurts is going to be the quarterback in 2022. But before we get there, there's still work to be done here in the 2021 season. So I do want to go back to how Nick Sirianni and the organization, because it's an organizational decision, handled Week 18 against the Cowboys. You seem okay with it. I'm okay with it. Now, if they go,
I'm not okay with it.
You're not okay with it?
Yeah, I think they should have played Hurts a little bit, and not simply because Dak Prescott played, but he needs to play. I mean, I know his ankle gave him some problems, a few games ago, but he needs to be out there. I mean, that's a good team. You don't get better by sitting a guy out. I think he could have done some stuff. I appreciate, they want him to be healthy for the playoffs, but he doesn't have to play 4 quarters. So the more I looked at that, at first I thought, okay, but I don't know how this helps you going into the playoffs. You're healthy, right?
How much? I'll say this, Bob.
51 to 26. I mean,
if they play poorly in Tampa, do people revisit how they handled Week 18?
Yeah, they'll do that. But I mean, the obvious too is that the Bucs are the defending Super Bowl champions. So they're not in that league. They're not in their league, if you ask me. I mean, and that's not an insult. There's not a lot of teams are, and the Bucs, they've had a kind of a strange year, but I just got the feeling with them from the beginning of the season that they just wanted the playoffs to begin. So they didn't want to play 17 games.
Yeah.
It's like, but they did, and they're here, and Brady, his preparation, and Arians, he'll have some things ready. And as I was saying before, they're going to take something away from Jalen Hurts that he feels really comfortable doing, and then then we'll see how he adjusts, how the Eagles adjust, and it's not just about him; it's about how Nick Sirianni and his staff adjust too.
Yeah, please give me more strange years that end up at 13-4, the way the Tampa season did. All right, I'm going to ask you a tough question, and it's probably not fair, but I'm going to put it to you anyway. So you weren't a fan of the Eagles sitting the players on Saturday against the Cowboys. If they had played their regulars and they had fine-tuned things and they had dodged the injury bullet that none of their players that they played got hurt, how many points they lose by to Tampa anyway?
I think it's I think they beat the spread. What is it, 8 points right now? I think that. Yeah.
So you think it's a touchdown game? Because they sat out all those guys, and you think that it was a mistake? What do you think? They lose by 3 touchdowns?
Well, it's going to be double digits. Yeah. They're not going to be able to score enough points to keep up with them. And the other thing too, they kind of, for whatever reason, they've done a little bit of coddling of Jalen Hurts, in my opinion. I think that Jets game when Minshew came up,
Yeah.
I mean the guy had started 17 games in a row. I would let him start that game too. He would have beat the Jets, I think.
He probably would have. He probably would have beat the Jets, but I don't think it was healthy.
Then you got
saw him that week.
Do you believe they overestimated his injury? I think he was legitimately hurt. You don't?
No, they've coddled him a little bit. They've instead of letting him go out there and be the guy, and that quarterback position that's a unique animal in the NFL. I mean, you go out there, and in my opinion, you play, unless your legs fall off or something, if you can go out there and play, and I think he could play. I think he could. I mean, is it there all this stuff about coaches too saying that it's all about the safety of the players? Just give me a break with that stuff. Right.
That we know it's not true.
That makes right. That makes everybody, anybody who knows football, roll their eyes, when they hear that. So But
Well, I think they took advantage of the situation. He did have a high ankle sprain. They did have the bye after the Jets game. They knew they could beat the Jets with Gardner Minshew. So
yeah,
there's a little strategy in
coming
there.
off that his worst game of the season, though, in a
Yeah.
game that
Well, it was,
and he
yeah.
could have won that game. He could have beat Daniel Jones and the Giants.
Should have
You
beat
know,
him.
yeah. I
Arguably.
mean, if Rager catches the ball,
Yeah.
but so they've coddled him just a little bit. Now, I think the best way for him to prove that he can play is to actually play. You know, I would have sent him out. I would have sent him out there against.
So when Gardner Minshew knocks on Bob Grotz's door and says, "Bob, I want a chance to be the starting quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles," how do you handle that?
how
Nick,
would I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you handle it?
I'd say you've
would
done a
you
great
give
job
Gardner-
for us, but the way Jalen Hurts is playing, here are your chances.
He's putting up percentages again. All right, I need some percentages.
He doesn't have any arm
LA
strength. Yeah.
at a different position, Mr. Grotz. 2, 3, 4 weeks. I don't even remember what it was. John McMullen said here on Birds 365. If they took down the entire wide receiver room except for Devonta Smith, I'd be perfectly fine with that. I concurred with Mr. McMullen's sentiments on that one. We've probably seen the last of J-Jaw going on IR for the season, and I don't think he's going to be back next year.
Yeah, you're right.
Can they also pull the plug on Jalen Reagor? Can Howie Roseman admit, all right, I made mistakes drafting wide receivers. Give me a shot to try and correct them. Let's clean the slate. We got Devontae and a whole bunch of new guys. Can that actually happen with the Eagles during the offseason?
Yeah, I think they'll listen to if there are any offers, they would listen. Yeah, and you can tell. I mean, after those big drops against the Giants, Nick Sirianni kind of went out on a limb and said that Reagor was in the lineup because he still felt like he gave him the best chance to win. But if you look at the snaps that he's playing and the chances he's gotten, I mean, it's been a little bit less each week, and I think this last game or against Washington, this Dallas game was a little bit of an aberration. He played his fewest snaps all year against Washington. He was steadily declining all year, and the touches too. And guess what? Well, while that steadily declined, they were winning games. So, so they kind of answered that question. And but Quez Watkins, he's just too inconsistent right now. He's got that speed, so he's kind of a one-trick pony to me. But Devontae Smith, you're right. After that, I mean, Greg Ward helps him out, but he is what he is. He's kind of a slot type of guy. He's been effective. And Goddard, Goddard, I would.
Goddard's been great.
Yeah, but he's
a couple drops though.
Yeah, exactly. Some of those drops are starting. That's starting to bother me a little bit. He is great. He's got an immense talent, but I'd really love to see him just dominate. Just from start to stop. Just dominate. And in that Jets game, well, they are the Jets, but. That Jets game with Minshew really, he kind of showed what you can do with Goddard when you target him a lot. I mean, he could catch 10 balls easy.
Yeah, I love when everybody says it's just the Jets. From moment one, everybody, it's like everybody's on the same page. They've been given the instructions, talking points.
Yeah, it's weird, but they're a few years off, and I like Zach Wilson. I like
Joe Douglas, but it's not working out for Joe up there. Miles Sanders, we going to see him in Tampa on Sunday? You think he's going to play?
Oh, I definitely do.
Do you?
Yeah, I think he's going to play. I think him and
we may be entering the Ed Kratz. Look for Brandon Brooks to come back any minute now, and we're still waiting a month later. Are you guaranteeing the appearance of the Eagles' number one running back in this game against Tampa? Is that what you're doing for us?
Wow. A guarantee?
Guaranteeing, yeah.
I guarantee it, yeah.
You got.
I was going to go.
Can you share Miles' number with me? Can you send me
no
a
chance?
Because it sounds to me like you talked to the guy.
I'm not even taking bets on that. It's off the board.
Wow.
He's playing board. That's not a. Yeah, I mean, he's got something to prove here.
Well,
This
he
is
does, yeah.
their only chance to beat the Bucs. And it's not. I don't think it's a great chance, but their only chance to beat the Bucs is to run the ball. And so yeah, he'll be out there. I mean, he'll play with a broken hand. Hopefully that doesn't lead to turnovers and that. But I expect him to be out there. Yeah.
Well, that's my concern. Ball security is not the best with Miles in typical circumstances. If we're throwing a broken hand on top of it that just had surgery, and you got Vita trying to punch the ball out.
Oh no. Landon Dickerson and Jordan Mailata are going to take care of Villa.
All right.
Villa, yeah. You watch that, yeah. Hey, that's going to be a really interesting matchup up front. Vita Villa, if he goes against Dickerson, and Mailata is going to be over there too. They're combination blocks, because Mailata, I mean, I still can't believe some of the pancakes he's had against good guys this year.
He changed his Instagram location to IHOP earlier in the season.
Yeah, but that and you guys are right. I mean, that's where the game's going to be won and lost up front, and at the quarterback position.
All right, I'm putting my eagle-colored glasses on here, readily admitting ahead of time that I'm looking at through eagle-colored glasses. Derek Barnett is going to have another major fumble recovery of a Tom Brady fumble, like he did in an important game some 4 years ago. Who's going to be punching the ball out? Who's actually going to get the sack like Brandon Graham did in the Super Bowl that causes Tom Brady to cough it up so that Derek Barnett could basically fall on the ball? Bob Grotz, prediction. Who's getting the sack on Brady that could turn the game?
I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. Yeah,
it's got to be Sweaty J.
Can they activate Brandon Graham again? Yeah, I mean, I don't see anybody. And by the way, I wouldn't be surprised, Jody, if Brady goes back and watches some of that Super Bowl footage, even though all the guys are different. He's probably got.
Oh, by the way, he threw for 505. They didn't win the game because they shut down Tom Brady. They made one big defensive play, but otherwise he went for 500 against them.
Yeah. Hey, it's about winning the game, right? Isn't that what Schwartz said? The bottom line is
it is. Now, Jim didn't want to talk about that game.
He said that with a smirk on his face too, didn't he?
Jim was not happy about that game.
Nah. But they did. Sooner or later it does come down to a defensive play.
It does.
It just so. But this is the best thing about this game opening with Tampa is it's a great game. It's a reward for Eagles fans and their loyalty to be able to make a trip to Florida, to Tampa. Although, 60 degrees and raining.
Yeah, it's not good.
Even that.
It's not good. Yeah, it's still better than here. What is it going to be in Tampa? Give me a percentage of that in Raymond James Stadium. How many Eagles fans? What are we talking about?
Yeah,
we're talking about 70-30, 80-20, 60-40. How high can they get that thing?
We'll find a way to get in there. No, I wouldn't say. I think 30% might be a little bit high. I think those Bucs fans are going to, although it's the first round, it's the Eagles. Yeah, it could be. It could be 30, 35.
Pay for your whole season ticket package.
Exactly, yeah.
Eagles roots coming down. Come on, Bob.
They expect
pay for the whole package.
Yeah. I could see that happening. And by the way, do you have your room down there yet, John?
I have reserved a room
because the rates are unbelievable.
In the beautiful Tampa airport.
Yeah, the rates. I mean, it was $288 at the Clearwater, the Marriott Clearwater Suites.
Yeah, you can't get in Clearwater. You're paying
or Clearwater Beach
400.
Yeah. Oh man, I mean, it's like so. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be there will be a lot of Eagles fans there, and hey, I don't know if you've been there. Have you been to Frenchie's? Jody, you've been to Frenchie's down there?
Frenchie's, yes.
With the grouper sandwich. Oh man,
Doing Philly spring training Frenchies is high quality. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Grotz, you got to go down there and pay attention. You got to be dedicated to the Eagles winning this game.
Yeah,
You've given us 10% down to 5%. We only got about a minute and a half left here. I'm wondering if you're going to get below 5%. What can we do to change your mind to make you believe the Eagles have a chance to win this game?
Well, if there was like a COVID outbreak on the Bucs right now, I would say.
I've been saying that for months. This is the year to make the playoffs because you never know when COVID's going to hit.
Yeah.
He's coming down even more.
It's just not looking good. And you know, when they struggle in this game, it's not going to be just because they rested those guys. But I still think that that last game that they played against Dallas, I think they could have used that as a springboard, a little bit of momentum. You don't have to play them the whole game, but I don't get that. I mean, who thinks that's a good idea? You know, just to rest your guys and you're going to get better. You're going to get. How is it going to get better?
Raise your hand, McMullen. You and I both thought it was a good idea.
But how does that get him better? I mean,
well, it doesn't get him. It doesn't get him better. But you can't legislate injuries. And by the way, the Eagles, you know, the players they did play, they lost 3 on IR. JJ Arcega-Whiteside, which nobody cares about. Brett Toth, Tyree Jackson. So they did lose 3 players in that game.
Those are guys that never played.
No. Well, that's why they're playing.
1,000 snaps.
1,000
snaps. I mean, yeah.
All right, Bob Grotz.
Yeah.
Delco Times, Bob Grotz, host of the Pro Football Report with the legendary voice of the Eagles, Merrill Reese. So listen to Bob there. Let's get you on record. You said the Bucs are going to win.
Yeah,
I think 3 touchdown win. Is that what we're saying?
No,
but you said this team was going to start 1-7, not make the playoffs. So Eagles fans are looking for you to go negative.
Well, you know what? Hey, that was close. 2 and 5.
That was close.
Yeah,
you were very close.
You were not far from being right.
Yeah. But I just think it's going to be double digits. And you know what? I'm not bashed. I think they've had they've won the games that they should have won, and you know they've had a pretty good season. 9 wins. You know they do play in probably the worst division in football, but that's beside the point. They won 9 games, and what is it? Sirianni is the only rookie head coach in the playoffs.
Yes,
is that right?
Number 1. Yeah. Brandon Staley blew it.
Yeah, so you can't, you know, I mean, you can't dismiss that. Did Howie Roseman make some great moves this year? Yeah, but you know, he also had to put out some fires that he started. I mean, you know, through contracts and other things, and so I need to see Jalen Hurts. I just need to see him take another step in this game, and because there's going to be a game plan. You know, not that the other ones weren't, but there's going to playoff game plans. They're going to take something away from him. Let's see how he reacts.
Bob Grotz, enjoy the grouper sandwich.
Yeah. I will do that.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
That is Bob Grotz of the Delco Times. Little did I know that Bob Grotz was going to be the Sammy Guevara of this show and go to the cue cards to tell us exactly what he thought the Eagles' chances of winning were. Grotz is entertaining. Gotta like him. All right, John McMullen, Jody McDonald. We'll try and entertain you for about 5 more minutes. We'll come back, put a bow on the show here on Birds 365.